Okay, so next topic is going to be, we're going to skip a few commanders. So commanders, and others known as officers, are basically all of the leaders that otherwise appear in other games. They do a lot of things, and there are four major categories. There are naval commanders, ground force commanders, scientists, and civilian administrators. First of all, let's talk about the more generic options down here, down the bottom. So auto rename will automatically rename and reroll the name of the commander. So when you click the button, it will automatically pick a name from your name themes. So if you have somebody with a really, really weird name that you want to rename, you click the button and it will reroll the name. You can also manually rename an officer to whatever you would like in this little window here. Down here, you have the promote and demote buttons. So promoting will send them up a rank, demote will send them down a rank. Fairly straightforward. Assign will put them into the slot that you allocate. So you have here all the ranks and slots available. The only one we have available at the moment will be the Academy Commandant, because we don't have any ships or other positions. So one thing that you want to make sure is that you have both units selected. Now you can go select, but sometimes it gets a little bit weird. So it's best to click on the officer name, then the assignment, then click assign. And that will assign them to... Now, the order is a little bit weird because we're doing it all in one go, but that will assign them to the position that you want them to. You can also click unassigned to do the exact opposite and take away their job. Now, it doesn't fire them, it just removes them from that specific role. Firing them is down here, retire. So you click this little button and the officer disappears forever. You cannot unretire an officer, so be careful because it will not warn you, it will just delete them immediately. Reassign naval runs the automatic assignment on all naval officers. So if you're not using automated assignments, you will want to come here and click reassign naval every once in a while. It will automatically reassign all the officers. So this here manually runs automated assignments, but only on the naval officers. I don't believe it reassigns ground officers. Let's have a look. Yeah, I don't believe it reassigns all the ground officers, which is a little bit annoying. Can we... unassign all naval commanders and run automated assignments. So it might reassign all the ground officers as well. Need a bit more testing on that. You'll notice, however, that we do get some slightly different options here. So, for example, the general here gets no promote and demote buttons. That's mainly because we have the rank selected. So there we go, promote and demote. So the buttons do change depending on what you actually have selected. Not sure why the assign and unassigned buttons are here, but whatever. Auto rename all will reroll the name of every leader that you have. Hide medal row will hide the row of medals that have been allocated to an officer. We will talk about medals in a different episode. Manage medals opens the medal management screen, which is also accessible through this star button here. And award medal will take you to the award medal selection screen so that you can award a medal to your officer without having to go through a different menu. So now that we talked about the general options, let's talk about specific ranks. So, 4 categories: naval, ground force, scientist, and administrator. We'll start with naval first. So, the name of the ranks themselves, all right? Name of the ranks themselves are determined by your racial theme. So, the racial theme is... where is it? There is a racial theme that we selected at the very beginning, and that particular theme determines the naval commander. I believe we did also the Ground Force Commanders. I believe we did a US theme. I forget the exact theme that we selected at the creation. You can go back to the game creation screen, but these are the Naval and Ground Force names of that particular theme. If you have automatic promotion, then what it'll do is it'll automatically promote people to try and maintain about a 2 or 3 to 1 ratio of lower to higher ranks. Right, it looks like it's roughly 2 to 1 at the moment. So you can see that it's keeping about 40 lieutenant commanders to 20 commanders, 20 to 10 captains, 10 to 5, 5 to 2, and 2 to 1. But it does try and keep that ratio up. So if you want more higher ranked officers, you need more lower ranked officers, and exponentially so. As you can see, we only have a single vice admiral, but we have 40 lieutenant commanders who are rock bottom rank. Now, you can add additional ranks. If you, there it is, add rank. So if you click the add rank button, you can add a name here. Let's go for High Admiral. There we go. And you also need a rank abbreviation. So, so that's this one here. So you can see Rear Admiral, Vice Admiral, Commander, Captain, Commander, Rear Admiral, Commander. So this is High Admiral, so HADM. Okay. And you can see here that High Admiral has now been added above Fleet Admiral. So this is how you get additional ranks. Now, obviously, once again, you need even more guys underneath to get that high. But if you find that you have a lot of high-ranking people because you have like 100 academies, then you might need that additional rank. Additional ranks can come in very handy in things like admin commands. So there are reasons why you would want a lot of ranks. The ranks also matter for academy commandants. So because an officer can only lead an academy that he is in equal rank to. So if you have a level 1 academy, lieutenant commander can do it. A level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 academy, we can handle. So we can put a vice admiral in the level 6 academy. But we would need an admiral for level 7, a fleet admiral for level 8. And before we created high admiral, that means we would not be able to actually staff a level 9 academy. So that's why we had to create high admiral to staff a level 9 academy. So there are very good reasons why you would want to add another rank. But that is how you do it, the add rank button there. And you can also delete rank as well. Which seems to delete all the officers of that particular rank, so be careful. So those are the ranks. So naval commanders command anything that is a ship, from a fighter all the way up to the largest battle station, or battle fortress, or freighter, or whatever you have, right? Anything that is made from a shipyard, or anything that is made through the space station or fighter screens, all of those naval officers command. Naval officers also command admin commands. So you put admin. So admin commands require naval officers to command, and yeah, they will command anything that is a ship as well as admin commands. You can also put them into academies. Every commander can be put into an academy. They can also go into commercial ships, and they also have roles aboard the ship in terms of various specific staff officers. So these are all the various ranks that you can see here. Down here we have ground force commanders. Ground force commanders are put in charge of HQ positions in ground troops. So when we get to ground troops, if you have a headquarters component, that is staff. That a headquarters component on the ground unit puts a ground force commander in there. So that's literally the only place they go. Ground force ground units are the only place they live in, apart from academies. So academies and ground forces is the only thing you can put ground force commanders into. Down here we have quite possibly one of the well, they all have their use, except Ground Force Commanders. Ground Force Commanders are the most useless of the three. So down here we have the Scientists. Scientists do not have a specific rank. So while these are rank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Scientists do not have a specific rank. So there's no hierarchy in between the ranks, but this is their fields. So if you have a look at all your scientists, you can see here that we have all of our scientists here. So Ginny Alk is 5%, and that 5% relates to her field, power and propulsion. If you want to see her actual admin level, that's over here. But you can see here, research is 5%, and she is power and propulsion. So here you can see a breakdown and overall of all your scientists. Now, there is one unique thing that you can do with a scientist in here that you cannot do with a naval or ground force commander. You can see ground force commander, same thing here as there is up here. Same buttons. The scientist can do one other thing, and that down here is change field. So a scientist, if you have a spare, can be changed at the cost of 75% of their research bonus into a different field than what they are in. So if you have 2 construction production guys, but you don't have a sensors guy, you can go down here and switch to sensors and okay. And you can see that his bonus is dropped to 3% because it's rounded down, but we now have a sensors guy. So we now have a 3% sensors guy. Now, it does reduce it by quarter. What's interesting with that is because he's now theoretically in the field that he gets the 4 times bonus to, he still provides the exact same bonus that he used to. So he loses 75% of his skill, but he still provides the same amount of bonus points or research points in total as if he wasn't in that field. But once he gets his bonus up again, then he'll provide a significantly more bonus than if he were to gain his research bonus through a unrelated field. So keep that in mind. If you have scientists and you desperately need one of a specific type and you do not have one, you go in here in the commander section and hit change field, and that will change the field that he's in. One thing you'll notice is that there are also a couple of buttons missing. Notably, add and delete rank do not exist for scientists because they are not ranks, they are categories. The other thing that's missing is automatic reassignment because they are completely unaffected by it as well. Although reassign naval is apparently still here because that just reruns automated assignments. Realistically, this button shouldn't really exist, but whatever. So these are your scientists here. Last but not least, administrators. Now, administrators do have a rating. However, there's no real way to boost them above level 6. So you cannot really add any more ranks above level 6. So you cannot really have a level 7 administrator. So keep that in mind. Level 6 is as high as you can go. Now, does not necessarily mean that they are going to be better. What the admin rating relates to is the capacity for them to command sectors and populations. The larger a population is, the higher rank it needs. So, Mars, which is a barren rock, needs A0, which means it has no admin requirement whatsoever. So, any administrator can command Mars. Earth has a requirement of admin rating 2. That means that anybody who were to be admin rating 1 would not actually be able to be allocated into Earth, but Celine is a level 2, so she will be able to be allocated to level Earth. So keep in mind, the better administrators are required to man the better posts, or at least the larger ones. Sectors often weirdly have small requirements, and academy commandants, of course, are based on the academy size. What's interesting is because admin rating 6 is the highest it can go, you cannot have a civilian administrator in charge of an academy that is higher than level 6. So at level 7, academies can only be commanded by scientist, ground force, and naval commanders. Civilian administrators cannot command a level 7 or higher academy, which is a bit weird, but there it is. So that is the various ranks and levels. Over here, we have the details for the specific commanders that we have selected. So up here, we have the name and what they are assigned to. We have the homeworld, and this is the planet that they, I believe it's related to the racial homeworld. So if they are of a different race, then they might have a different homeworld. The military academy is a name of the military academy that they spawn from. This may also be random. I'm not entirely sure exactly how their homeworld is generated. But the military academy is basically picked which academy they actually graduated from. They're obviously both Earth, but if you were to rename the military academy, then this would, of course, change to reflect that. Age and health. So you start off with basically everybody being 21 years old. It's weird at first, but there it is. Everybody starts off at 21 years old when they are created, so there's nobody that's really old. So age and health. Everybody starts at 21 at the game start. It's a bit weird, but there it is. Everybody also starts, well, roughly at excellent health. There might occasionally be somebody who's not an excellent. I think there was somebody around here that wasn't an excellent, but they usually start off at excellent health. And excellent is fine. What the health is related to is chance of dying early, basically. Commanders will occasionally get negative impact on health, which will reduce their health. If they get an impact on health when their health is poor, then they might just die of old age or die early of health complications. Generally speaking, the health has no impact until they actually die. Once the age gets about 60, 65, then there is a increasing chance for them to either die or just flat out retire. So keep that in mind. In terms of retirement, there is also a service period for retirements. So a naval commander is checked for potential retirement once the service of their career exceeds the minimum retirement for the rank. So minimum retirement is 10 years for ranks like lieutenant commander. So once they have been in their rank for 10 years, plus 5 years for every level of the rank above, then they are checked for retirement. So 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So once a Vice Admiral has been in charge for 35 years, then he is checked for retirement. The chance itself is 20% for every year beyond the minimum retirement age. And is doubled if the commander does not have an assignment. So with the Vice Admiral, he's doing, 65? 10, 20, 30, 35? So at about 40 years of service, a Vice Admiral can be expected to retire. So keep that in mind. But at 40, he's going to be 60 anyway. So he's going to be about the age where he's going to be looking to die off. So the higher rank guys are going to hang around longer. The lower rank guys are going to hang around less long. So keep that in mind. Ground Force Commanders, the minimum starts at 20. Plus 5 years for every level of rank above the minimum. For scientists and administrators, you get a minimum of 40 years out of them before they start to look at retirement. So keep those numbers in mind, although they rarely make that much of a difference. So that's the date of commission. So you can keep that. You can see that to figure out how long they're going to be around. Down here we have the promotion score. Now the promotion score. Oh, there he is. Poor health. The promotion score is used by the automatic, the realistic promotions value. So the higher a promotion score, the higher the chance for an officer to be promoted. So generally speaking, the higher the promotion score, the higher rank they're going to hold. But it doesn't necessarily guarantee. And the range is not necessarily very high either. So you can see the Vice Admiral here is 2015. Perseus here is 1743. But Sharon is 986. Well, all these guys are not that far off. But once one of these Rear Admirals is rolled to be promoted, so when a slot opens up here, Demos here is the most likely to actually be promoted on account of having the highest promotion score. And you can see here that generally, the higher their score, the higher up they are. And then commanders down here are in the 2 to 400, and then 198, and then the highest lieutenant is 167. Does not guarantee it, but generally speaking, the higher the promotion score, the higher they go. Now, that promotion score can be played with. One thing that is in the medals. So medals can add or remove a promotion score. So you can actually have a negative point medal in case you want to punish somebody. So if you're adding promotion scores, keep in mind that 20 points of promotion score are going to matter a lot more to, say, Alistair here than they would to Perseus, right? So for Alistair to get first pick at commander, he actually needs a lot more than the 19 that he's got. But, well, once these two get promoted, Alistair's third in line. Well, actually, they're not sorted by promotion score. Okay, Alistair doesn't have a chance in hell. He's only 19. But for example, Elocia here is 137. So to get picked over Theseus, Elocia only needs 30 points. And she's going to be even with Theseus when it comes to pick. If she gets a 40-point medal, then she's going to get promoted to commander before Theseus will. Whereas over here, if we go to look at Perseus and Orpheus, well, once again, it's actually not that much of a difference. But like between Themis and Eunomia, it's a much bigger difference. Anyway, the point is, if you want to promote somebody, if you want to gauge how much promotion score a medal should give, you want to have a look at how much of a benefit you want these guys to get over each other. We want to have a look at the range between maximum and minimums for the rank they're at. So 1,000 points promotion score medal is going to give Theseus a leg up not only amongst his own rank, but potentially even up against rear admirals. Now, he's not going to get promoted all the way to rear admiral, right? So even if he's got 1,000 points, I don't believe that the game will pluck him and take him directly to rear or vice admiral. It will only promote up from above. But when the promotions get rolled, he's going to be basically first all the way to the top. So keep that in mind when you're allocating medals. We'll talk about medals later in more detail. Let's move along. Down here we have the tick box do not promote, which overrides any automatic promotion and will lock them into the rank that they're at. This is useful because if you have a captain and you want him to stay in command of the ship they're in, you have to flag them as do not promote, because if they're promoted above the rank, they're going to be pulled out of that rank and then somebody else is going to come in. So this is useful if you want a person to stay in the role they're in and not be relocated or moved. The story character tick box here, and what that does, the story character tick box here, what that does is it takes away any chances of them suffering accidents or ill health and will not be automatically retired. So it overrides the 40, 50, however many year retirement, and it stops their health from deteriorating, and it stops any accidents from rolling against them. However, if they're on a ship that gets blown up or a colony that gets invaded or bombed, they can still die. So it doesn't make them immortal, it just makes them almost immortal. So yeah, this can be abused, so try not to abuse it, but that's what that does. It stops them from being automatically promoted, automatically retired, stops them from suffering accidents, and stops them from gaining ill health, or any of those traits. Okay, next up in the middle here, we have the actual commander traits. Now, this is split into two sections. You have the actual skill bonuses, and you have the traits themselves. So we have here Nymph has 10% survey bonus, 25% reaction bonus, and 15% tactical bonus. Whereas Perseus here has a 25 crew training, 5% survey, 25% reaction, 15% diplomacy, and 30% logistics bonus. We'll talk about what those actually do in a moment. Over here, we have commander traits. These do literally nothing. They have no gameplay effect whatsoever in the slightest. They are 100% purely roleplay and nothing else. No effect whatsoever. None of them. So no matter what they have, completely irrelevant. No gameplay effect at all. Okay. In here is the medal display. So once you actually start giving out the medals, they appear in this little box over here. Over here to the side, you have the history of the officer. So you can see here, promoted to lieutenant commander, commander, captain, and rear admiral. These obviously all happen immediately because they get generated at rear admiral. Usually they'll only have the promoted lieutenant commander, but it will also keep track of what ships they were in charge of and when they got promoted out of it. I believe it also keeps track of any achievements or anything like that they've earned. Obviously, there's nothing really that's happened here because we haven't really had any game flow, but this is the history of the officer themselves. Okay, so down here we have the assignment list. So you can see, well, let's focus on administrators. Now, you can't pick, hang on. You can't put scientists into research roles over here or projects. You have to do it through the science menu. The only thing that's available are academy commandants. But let's go for administrators here. So we've got two options. We've got Earth and Mars. Down here, we have the actual assignment list. So you have here options, so population, sectors, and academic commandants. If you click eligible only, it will only... Actually, you know what? Let's just throw a couple of guys in. There we go. So now we've got some admin rating 1 guys. Okay. So now that we have some admin rating 1 guys, let's take a look at eligible only. So if you have a look, because we have a rank 1 selected, eligible only allows Mars to actually be shown, right? So that stops you from accidentally trying to assign anybody to the wrong, to something they're not eligible for. So that's what that tick box does, and that comes in handy. Available only will only show of options that are actually available. So if we have a look and assign somebody to Mars, you'll see that Mars disappears. So even if we go here to our rank 6 guy, because it's already has somebody allocated, Mars is not going to appear while this is ticked. This is really handy because, as you can see, the color is not that different in the base game. So if you have available only ticked, then that will make sure that you can easily see which populations or ships or ground units actually need somebody allocated. So that tick box comes in really handy. The two together will make sure that the person you have selected is always only going to be selecting somebody who's that's available and that they're eligible for. So these tick boxes are very useful when you have a lot of options. Now, last thing over here, we have potentially one of the more useful systems in the game. And now that we have a whole bunch of peeps, it will actually show up good. The finder, the officer finder. So, for example, naval officer, ground force commander, civilian administrator, and scientist. You can pick here. All is useful if you're trying to put somebody in an academy position. So that way it doesn't really matter what they are. You go for the skills. So, for example, let's say you want to put an administrator into Earth, right? You're looking for the perfect guy on Earth, but look at all the people you have. You can't go through each one of them to find somebody who's actually good. That's what this is for. Minimum rank, rating 2. Cool. We want somebody who's rank 2 because they need to be eligible for Earth. And then down here, you pick your first, second, third, and fourth priority option, right? So you want the skill for that your most, second, third, and fourth priority is for what you want. Earth, we want good production. Then mining, then say shipbuilding, and then let's go for population growth, right? And this will give you the rankings, the skill ratings in rankings of all the officers who actually have some skill in those. So we can see here that Jurgen Tantalus here, he's unassigned. So we can see if anybody's actually already assigned to somewhere. And he's got 30% production, 0% mining, 5% shipbuilding, and 0% population growth. Whereas Palaman Pandina here has a 25% production bonus, 15% mining bonus, 0% shipbuilding, and 0% population growth. And you can scroll down here and see, you pick the 4 skills you want that you're most interested in comparing against, and you can see here a full list of each skill and how each person compares. So if you want to focus on production, you have all your best production guys here. Daedalus here has a nice combo of 10% production and 20% mining, whereas Pythia here only has a 25% bonus in mining, but none in anything else except for pop growth. So you can see here how powerful this can be to find the best administrator for the colony you actually want. And you can go up to 4. You don't have to go all 4. Although there's always going to be one. But you don't have to go all 4, right? You can just pick one and just go, okay, I need just the best mining guy. So I'm just going, boom, best mining. Pythia, done, right? So if you want to focus on mining, you can do that. And there it is. So as I said, you can see how very, very powerful this particular screen can be on finding the perfect commander for what you actually want. If you want a naval guy who has a really, really good reaction bonus because you have to get that first shot off, Jacob's your man. Or Rhea, or Hephaestus, or any one of these guys, right? And then, okay, well, which one of these guys do I want? Well, let's say I want a tactical bonus. Well, Nymph might be the best option because you might want that 15% bonus over the 5% actual reaction bonus. So that's how you use this system. This system is extremely powerful, very, very handy. That's broken. But that's extremely, extremely useful to finding the exact officer that you want to give you the exact bonuses that you want. Very useful, very powerful. I'm really not sure what's going on with that. There we go. That's actually working now. So very, very useful, very, very powerful, very, very handy. Keep this in mind when you need to go find the right guy. Probably most of the time you're going to use it for is for civilian administrators, honestly. Because Naval and Grand Force commanders, a lot of people tend to just use automated assignments and just let the automatic thing deal with it. But if you are manually running them, this is where you need to go. For administrators, which are immune and not allocated by automatic assignments, this is where you are going to want to find the best guy for your colonies. And that is our commander's view. Last thing, SM view. SM gives you a couple of little options. Replace all, which replaces up to a lot of commanders, and add extra just generates a bunch of commanders based on your basic distribution.